Hi, Susan. I'm just getting stuff set up. Good to see you. Oh. Hi, Susan. I'm just there we go. So one of the things I'm setting up is my I've got this also YouTubing, live streaming on the YouTube channel. It's YouTubing. So that was what that noise was. Oh, here you go. Take that off for the time being.
Whoops.
Oh,
no, I'm unmuted.
Yeah, sorry, I'd forgotten I'd set it to keep you muted as they come in, and too many settings.
Is today the full moon?
Yeah, actually the precise moment of fullness, I was going to look that up, but it's I think in about 15 minutes.
My cat's a lunatic. He goes crazy with the full moon.
Only in about 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm going to take a quick break and go get a glass of water. I'll be back.
Great. Okay.
So I'll let you get set up.
So wait for a few minutes to see who comes on. Probably have at least a few more people. But how are you doing in the meantime?
Oh, I'm settling in. I've run into a glitch with my letter writing because my printer and my computer aren't speaking. But I'm working on it. So I'll just have to write really fast next week and get caught up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to try and get 100 letters done.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, before the deadline. I think it's the third week in October.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm still working on getting that together. I have a friend who offered to print some letters for me, so hopefully I'll have those soon.
Sounds like you're pretty busy. So did you watch the debate the other night?
I watched a little bit of it, and then I decided I couldn't take anymore, and I stopped. And of course, since then I've watched news and comedy shows, and it's all over. So I'm catching most of the most of the dramatic parts. I don't know if they're the
low points, the high points.
The low points. Yes, that would be a good description.
Pathetic.
Yeah, it is a strange time right now, and yeah, so much to do. So I'm on a workshop later this afternoon. Oh yeah, I let you guys know about it, the George Lakey workshop that's
Right.
also being offered on the 6th when we were supposed to meet. But then I'm realizing, well, maybe we should switch our meeting to the 13th so that people, if they didn't sign up for the one today, could sign up for the one on the 6th. I don't know. It's too much to organize. I can't
Yeah.
figure it out.
Well, I think it's too late for me, and I'm not. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
at this
it's
point.
4:30 to 6:30 Pacific. So what's that? 7:30 to
7:30 to
9:30.
9:30. That's kind of hard for me.
Yeah,
I mean, I could do it,
but
I don't think.
be stressed. Yeah. And then tomorrow I'm doing the beta test on that How We Win workshop. So that's a 1 to 5 session, which you're certainly welcome to join that, or we will have it a lot more together, one assumes, by Saturday the 17th.
I remember you talking about him in Banyan Grove. The way he.
Yeah, I had done that training just the weekend before.
Yeah. Sounds pretty neat.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. It just, what I liked about it was how much it reminded you how you can tap into your own power and provided the structure so the task seems manageable of, let's create a campaign, let's go out into the world and make a thing happen. So it's really, really good in that way. And just from a pedagogy standpoint, how the workshop's organized is really lovely. All right, well, I know my crowd tends toward rather late. So I guess, well, we'll give it one more minute, and that will be the point. I just looked it up. It is at 5 minutes after the hour is the moment when the sun and the moon are
cool.
most precisely in opposition. So the moon is the most fully illuminated. It gets all month right then, and so that is coming up. And see where you are. The moon might already be above the horizon, I'm guessing.
I haven't seen it, but it might be.
Yeah.
I imagine it is.
Yeah.
Still bright sunlight.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where. We'll have to go out later and find it. It'll be my first full moon here.
Yeah.
Powerful one.
Yeah. Oh, that's, yeah. So it'll be, because it should rise right as the sun is going down. So that should be pretty intense. Out here it's going to be orange. We're back in the smoke again. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's pretty horrendous.
Yeah. And was in a conversation earlier today, and one of the things that we were talking about, one of our group works with FEMA, and this question came up about people who rebuild in vulnerable places, and we keep putting money into
right
rebuilding the same way, it's either, you know, there's this need to either rebuild there but much wiser, or not rebuild there and create alternatives elsewhere. And they're both more expensive, harder choices to make in the current system. But if we look even over, you know, like a decade length, they are both lower cost options than rebuilding a couple of times in the same place.
But with these fires, I mean,
And that's, yeah.
don't build in Northern California. Don't build in California.
Well,
I know there's a lot you can do as far as building, how to build and how to manage the landscape around your house and things like that that are really important that people don't want to do, myself included. I mean, being
yeah. Oh, I live in a house that violates all of those rules.
It may come to the point where we have to, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
or just not be living in single family dwellings.
that is, you know, one of the things that's a little problematic. This at least certainly is not that. But yeah, the building single family dwellings, building them right at the wildland interface, whether it's chaparral and scrub in Southern California or actual forest up here. And the other option, the rebuild in place but smarter, would have to include really active, deliberate forest management practices, including controlled burns. And given what has happened to this landscape over the last 300 years, that would require, it would be super labor intensive for many decades until we really got the fuel load back under control. And given the way the climate seems to be shifting to longer, hotter, dry summers, areas that wouldn't have been vulnerable 20 years ago are really vulnerable now. And areas that aren't super vulnerable now will be 20 years from now, unless, you know, unless this thing reverses, which looks exceedingly unlikely.
Exceedingly.
So it's a hard time. And yet, do I want to move away from the redwoods? Not really.
It's pretty complex. I mean, there's so many layers on layers on layers to figure, but there's a way, there's got to be a way. I mean, I tend to get morose. I need to learn to envision the beauty, the new world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big part of the project. It's what of all of the things that are going to help us through this, a lot of them are going to solve other problems and be really beautiful and wonderful. And we need to
I just read a beautiful article of Joanna Macy's written in this online magazine, which of course I forget the name of, but I'll send you the link if you're interested, in which she gives a really nice summary of the whole work that reconnects. But she talks about the Great Turning, about how she believed that the work we did would mitigate the situation and the Great Turning would be more, you know, come about and be more of a new civilization, whatever. But now it's more about, it's supporting each other through the hard times, because, you know, things are much worse than they had thought.
Yeah.
But she'd said it, of course, very beautifully. Anyway.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take us into the meditation.
Great. Thank you.
And I need to do some. So we celebrate these moments in time when the moon takes on a very distinctive shape because of the way the moon, the earth, and the sun are aligned. The full moon is a time when the sun and the moon are on opposite sides of our home planet. That means that this is a global phenomenon, that everywhere in the world right now is the full moon, that everywhere in the world the moon comes up at sunset and is as close to a complete circle as it will be for this lunation, for this cycle. So this is something that unites us as a species, unites us as beings on this planet, and helps us remember the ways that we are connected. In the Nova Sutras movement, we express some of those through our terms agaya and ubuntu. Agaya is a new word born from the fusion of the word agape, which is referring to universal, transcendent, or divine love, and Gaia, which is a reference to what science has illuminated about the way the universe and all life on Earth seems to be organized to allow life to flourish. That life seems to organize itself to produce ever more complex and interconnected and beautiful life. And so when we say agaya, we're referencing our awe and wonder and joy at this expression of universal love through the beauty of life. Ubuntu is a term borrowed from languages of Southern Africa. And this refers to the way in which we are all dependent upon one another, the way that we're deeply interconnected. And in fact, our very existence is an expression of the relationships that we have with other beings. We are who we are because of the humans we interact with. We are who we are because of all the life on Earth with whom we share various connections. As animals, we are utterly, unalterably dependent on the plant world to capture sunlight and turn it into food that we can eat, turn it into oxygen that we can breathe. Plants, especially the flowering plants, are very much dependent on animals, on fungi, all of these other organisms that they interact with. And so when we talk about Ubuntu, we're recognizing those links, those connections of interdependence. And so to really open ourselves to these connections, to really open ourselves to sacred space, to be finding our spiritual location, where we really are, and reaching out into the world. We'll do this practice of calling the corners. And much like in Buddhist metta practice, we'll actually send our wishes for well-being out in these different directions. So I invite you to really think about where you are now, land yourself in that place as we go through calling the corners. Where I am, it's midday, so I'll start in the direction the sun is, the south. May all beings to the south abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings to the west abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings to the north abide in agaya and ubuntu. And may all beings to the east abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings above abide in agaya and ubuntu. And may all beings below abide in agaya and ubuntu. May each of us abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the beings in our watersheds abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the beings in our bioregions abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the beings on our land masses, the island or continent where we live. For me, that's the continent of Turtle Island. May all the beings of this continent abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the beings of the world's great oceans abide in agaya and ubuntu. And may all beings belonging to Earth's beautiful, bountiful, beneficent biosphere abide in agaya and ubuntu. Now I invite you to really settle into your body. Let yourself feel drawn down by the loving pull and support of the earth. Feel the way your weight is held by the earth. Think about where the sun is in relation to where you are. And let yourself feel drawn and warmed and connected to the sun. And opposite where the sun is right now is the moon. The sun is overhead, the moon is beneath you. If the sun is setting in the west, the moon is rising in the east. The moon is also drawing you so much smaller, but so much nearer to us than the sun, reflecting all it can of the sun's light. So feel the draw of the moon in one direction, the draw of the sun in the other direction, and let it expand you, open you up. Feel the air moving in and out as you breathe. And feel all the room that gives, the fullness of each breath. The full moon reminds us to recognize all of the abundance in our lives, to reflect all of the light that shines on us. When the sun and moon are on opposite sides of the planet, everything is illuminated. Perhaps those connections between light and dark, between day and night, those show up a little bit more. We can feel the unity of brightness and shadow. When we think of the full moon, we can recognize the beauty of fulfillment, of coming fully into the light as who and what we are. And even though the ever-changing moon reminds us that those moments of completeness are fleeting, it also reminds us that they're available, that they're important, that we must recognize them when they happen. So here on this earth, we are balanced between sun and moon. Things that had been hidden in darkness are illuminated. How do we find balance so that the treasures hidden in darkness within us might be illuminated? Well, on earth, the night sky is gentle with the light from the moon. All of earth bathed in the soft glow of the moon or the warm light of the sun. What the moon sees is a dark earth just reflecting back that faint light that it is shining. In the face of darkness, may we reflect back light. May we help to illuminate what is beautiful there. Feel yourself now with the light of the sun, either direct or reflected back from the moon, lighting you up inside. Feel that light. Reminding you of ubuntu, reminding you of agaya. Feel that light in your heart space, and then let it shine out brilliantly as a gift to the world, sending out wishes for loving kindness, connection, wonder, joy, beauty, abundance, illumination. Take a few deep, slow, gentle breaths. Connecting with that radiance in your own heart, with the radiance and love of all beings. And then gently, again, let yourself feel the pull of the moon, the pull of the sun, the supporting embrace of the earth. Settle into your body. Feel yourself rooted, reaching down into the soil. Feel yourself lifted, rising up to the sky. Feel the energy moving through you, pulsing between sky and soil, between heaven and earth. Feel the weight of your body, the pressure of your feet on the floor, your weight where you're seated. Start to wiggle your toes, your feet, your ankles, lower legs, upper legs. Shift your hips back and forth a little. Let your spine move and twist. Rock your shoulders back and forth. Move your arms, your wrists, your hands and fingers. Roll your neck just a little. Feel your head rise up, supported by your spine. When you're ready, with great gentleness, slowly open your eyes. Come back into the here and now. Remembering that together we are earthlings, bound on this fragile and beautiful home world, orbited by our lovely moon, orbiting around our brilliant sun, supported and nourished by one another and by our connections.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining the meditation today. Really
That was
appreciate
lovely.
seeing you here, Susan.
Thank you.
Before we open for a little more conversation, if you like, just to let folks know, and those who are watching online, we have an event coming up on Tuesday, which will be about focusing practice and creating a partnership with your truest self. Our next moon meditation is Friday at 5 p.m. A week from tomorrow. We have open discussions every Monday and Thursday at 11:30 that anyone's welcome to join. We have a big event coming up Saturday, October 17th, about training for how to be a more effective agent for positive change in the world through nonviolent direct action campaigns. And we'll be beta testing that tomorrow for people who are interested in helping us develop the workshop a little. The next big event for Nova Sutras is the Cross Quarter, which is Saturday, November 7th. We have these celebrations 8 times per year. November 7th is the midpoint between the September equinox and the December solstice. You can find out more about how to support Nova Sutras on our website. We also have all of the usual social media connections, and there are some recorded meditations available through Insight Timer if you look for Nova Sutras there. So thank you for joining us for this full moon meditation. And Susan, if you'd like to stay on, I'm happy to talk with you more. I'm going to check and see if we've got any comments on YouTube. Looks like we don't. So I'm going to go ahead and close out YouTube now.